What's up, guys? I know this is kind of long overdue and stuff, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I've been meaning to cover guard jumping for a while, and I haven't really got around to it, but today is the day. So, not many people know about this, at least the newer players who've been getting into the game. So, the basic gist of it is, you know, what's guard jumping? Basically, to put in the general terms, you can block and jump on your wake up. Okay, that's basically what it's gonna look like. But the actual explanation of it is that on your wake up, in general, in third strike on your wake up, you have about 6 frames of invincibility to grabs. Now what that does is you get to, basically it's about the amount of time for a meaty to hit you. So when you think of 6 frames, I would say think of like a meaty hit or so, because it says you know, the beginning 6 frames is really early, so as soon as you wake up you have about 6 amount of frames where you can input a block or input a button in which you could beat out a grab, due to the grab invincibility that you have for those 6 frames. Now, what the basic usage of this is to avoid command grabs. It's really good against characters like Alex, Yun, Yang, like the command grab characters. But in general terms, there are times where you can use it against other characters. I found myself using it against characters like Urien or sometimes Chun because of her counter grab. So it's, you know, against certain characters it's really good. Now I'm just gonna go over the basic gist of it first, and then, you know, obviously go into the complications with it, because, you know, this is a technique that's, you know, it's widely used, but it's not really the, you know, the go-to thing for everything that's defense, because, you know, it's not something that you want to do every single time against an opponent. So I'm just gonna go over the basic idea of it, you know, show you how it's done, and then, you know, I'm gonna apply the usage of it. So I'm gonna jump right into that. For starters, like I said, you can use it against the command grab characters. But you know, for starters, I'm just gonna show you how to meaty, you know, the whole concept of blocking for the first few frames and whiff and grab, and those 6 frames will happen. So, I mean, it's pretty simple to set up in training mode too. So if you want, you can do that. You know, just set the recording. Yeah, just keep everything normal if you want. It's easier if you push them into the corner, so, you know, just in training we'll push them into the corner. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously knock Ken down, and then I'm going to do a meaty hit. Now this is just going to, like, you know, showcase the whole 6 frame block thing that I was telling you about. So start off with this. It's a little early, but it still works all the same. Okay. That's funny. Are you ready? Go. Now, okay, there's that, and then I'll do another sweep just cause. Are you ready? Go. And then, right there for those few frames where it was meaty, that's when you block. And you can see that when I did it, I'll give it a little closer. When I do it, you do it almost immediately. So, try it again. You block for the first 6 frames and then jump. So it's 1, 2. So it's really quick. And you can see that I blocked for the first few frames and then jumped. Now for the next setup I'm going to do it again, but with a grab this time. Are you ready? First I'm going to showcase the roundhouse again, and then I'm going to do it with a grab. Yeah, see, right there, that was a little too early, so...
Into the heat of battle, go for it.
So one, this is showcasing the block, and then this is for the grab. And you can see I had to delay it a little bit in order to actually get the grab out. So it kind of just shows you, you know, the general concept of it, that, you know, you get those few invincibility frames from a grab, and then you get to jump out. And you can see I did it too early. And again. And it doesn't actually have to be, you know, super jump. It could just be a regular jump as well. So you can just do normal jump up like that, and you can see it still whiffs. So it's the same concept, you know, you're still blocking for the first few frames and then jumping afterwards. Now obviously, you know, like all things in this game, it can be punished simply by doing a delayed hit. So for example, if you try to do it when somebody's doing a block string, you're gonna get knocked out of the jump, or you're gonna get hit by the second delayed hit. So for example, you can do something like low short and then into strong fierce, and they'll catch you during the jump. Or something like or just even a slow like walk up like that. It might hit me right there, but you know, it's just strict timing, you know. That's what makes it an effective technique to use when you're playing at a high level. And you can see that I tried it and it still knocks me out of the jump. So, you know, it goes to show that it's mostly really effective against meaty hits and against command grabs, and sometimes normal grabs depending on the character. But there are times when, you know, you can't just go to it just because you're finding yourself blocking and able to jump out of the situation. So the next setup, that's just the basic gist of it. Obviously, you know, I showcased how the character can grab early and it'll whiff, and obviously when you have to grab the character, you have to delay it a little bit till they wake up, and then actually commit to the grab. So that shows you the, you know, the actual gap in between, you know, waking up and the actual invincibility frames. So there's that. Now another concept you can do is during the 6 frame gap, you can actually, you know, press a button, or you can buffer a parry. That's why there are sometimes I explain to people that, you know, buffering a parry and jumping out, it's kind of a good technique against command grab characters, because, well, first off, it limits their options, because if you get the parry, you can punish, and if you don't get anything, you simply avoid the situation altogether. Now, it's obviously risky because, you know, technically it's a guess, but, you know, it's still a limiting option, defensive option that you can do. So, you know, that's one thing that you can be aware of. It's the same, almost the same concept, but instead of blocking for the first few frames, you're buffering a parry. So I'm going to show you with the block, and then I'm going to show you with the parry afterwards. And you can see right there I blocked. Yeah. Now doing it again, same thing. That's the block. This is the block. Here's the parry. And you can see, if you look closely, I buffered a parry and then jumped really fast. And you can see I go to up afterwards. And nothing happens. So this is why it's a good technique to use against command grab characters, because if you get the parry, you can, you know, obviously you know, see the parry and then punish normally. And then do whatever. So that's the basic concept of that. Now, another thing you can possibly do is, you know, press a normal to stuff out the grab, or to stuff out, well, not really stuff out, but obviously it'll get beaten out by a meaty hit. But if somebody's going for a command grabs normally take about 5 frames to start up or so. It depends on the character, but for the most part, generically, it's about 5 frames. So anything less than that, you'll be safe for those first frames that you're invincible from the grab, as I said before, and you can actually, in those few 6 frames that you're invincible, you can press a button, buffer, parry, or block. Now, as long as the button is less than 6 frames, you'll stuff out whatever command grab or whatever, you know, whatever type of grab they do. Now, it's not really that effective against, you know, normal grabs, because normal grabs are normally 3 frames or so. So obviously there's not that many normals in the game that are less than 3 frames, except for Chun's low jab. So it's, you know, it's kind of risky to press a button on a regular wake up. But that's the basic, you know, generic overview of it. Now to look at command grab characters. So obviously I went over the parrying aspect of it. That's parrying and blocking. That's separate from guard jumping. So like I said, it's technically a guess, and it's okay against command grab characters, but you don't really want to, you know, you don't want to make it your go-to choice. Same thing with guard jumping. So try to use this technique sparingly, and you'll find yourself, you know, in better positions when it comes to being defensive. So I'm actually gonna pick Chun just for, you know, displaying, you know, just to show, because their jump is pretty fast, and you know, it's easy to showcase the low jab stuff. So again, I'm gonna showcase the guard first, and then after that I'm gonna showcase the regular grab, and then I'm gonna show the command grab. So I'm gonna knock them down 3 times, and then showcase, you know, the 3 different options that you have, or actually the 3 different options that you eliminate. Okay, so sweep, and then standing forward is about 5 frames, so it should be good enough. And that's a little too late, so let me try this again. So I'm gonna do the block first, then whiff grab, and then command grab. So that's a meaty hit. And then command grab afterwards.
Fighters ready. Engage.
And then the last one, here's a... And you can see that I jump out normally. It could be back jump too, it could be forward jump, so it doesn't really matter which way you jump. Or even if you do super jump, because actually during super jump, you actually have more invincibility frames too. But you can still get hit out of get hit out of the air. So in terms of avoiding the jump, avoiding the grab, excuse me, you get more invincibility frames from the super jump. But keep in mind, this isn't regarding normal jump. This is super jump. So, you know, just keep that in mind. So again, that's the block. That's the jump with grab, and you can actually press a button right there. Obviously, you stuffed out the command grab. So you know, it goes to show that, you know, during those frames that you're invincible, even though there's a startup for Alex, you know, it's still possible to beat out a command grab if you press a button like that. Now I could try it with a grab. Here's a normal grab, and obviously he buffered a parry, so it's a little. Let me do a back throw to show that in case if he just grabs normally. That was too early. So again, the first scenario was blocking, which is, you know, the concept of guard jumping. And the second, I'm going to try to beat out the grab during the invincibility frames. Ah.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
So there's that. And then there's that. Damn it, and I think I pushed forward too.
Go.
So there's the normal grab, so we'll try that. So there's that. And you can see it actually beat out the grab right there. So see, during those 6 frames he didn't actually grab me, so it was actually delayed. So, you know, obviously the 2-frame jab beat out the grab.
That's cool.
And see, if you press it a little bit earlier, you know, it beats it out clean. So that's one of those things to keep in mind, that, you know, whenever you see like a Yang or a Yun do like low short into like, you know, EX slashes or dash punch, they do it for sometimes they do it, you know, just for offensive reasons, like just to get the person off of them. But other times a knowledgeable player will keep that in mind and just, you know, use it to beat out the grab or to beat out any other type of attempt to, you know, to use a normal. So there's that. Obviously I showcased the command grab aspect, so, you know, it's a really good technique to use against, like, you know, the characters that rely on the command grabs. So it's as if, you know, the higher the tier goes, the less effective it becomes. So with Alex it's really effective, with Q it's really effective, but as you start going to Makoto it gets a little tricky. It still works the same way, but it's a little more risky due to the, like, you know, the amount of options that she has in terms of offense. So she can meaty you, or she can delay a hit and go into super or something. And with now it gets worse with Yun and Yang, because obviously they can delay a standing forward and juggle you afterwards, and it becomes a big problem after that. So, you know, this is a good technique to use with all the characters, but some of them are much more riskier than others simply because of the way, like, how slow their jump can be. So for example with Hugo it's a lot more risky because, you know, his jump is really slow. So you should really be careful in terms of what character you use it with. So and a lot of people had trouble with Makoto, so it's a good thing to use against Makoto. And it's easy to set up too, so sweep. And obviously that's the meaty.
Prepare to strike. Now. Prepare to strike.
So you'll be able to see it more clearly here too. Sometimes you can notice if you're doing it right if you see the character actually stand before they, you know, before they jump or something. Sometimes, because it can obviously go from crouch to standing and then up. So and same thing, you know, it still applies the same way. Now the only problem with it, as I said before, is just, you know, the delayed hits, or if it's a chained hit, then it becomes a bigger problem. Now obviously, you know, you'll see what happens when I try to do it there. Obviously I get hit by the hayate. So it goes to show you that, you know, even though it's a good concept to use in terms of defense, you can obviously get beaten out by certain moves and, you know, certain whatchamacallit, I guess tactics. So there's that to look out for.